All right, we're back. I just watched the Minnesota and North Carolina game. I had money on it. I had a parlay. It was North Dakota State covering the spread against Colorado. That hit. I bet Buffalo. I don't even know who they faced, but they had like minus 400 odds, so I just kind of did it to sweeten the deal. And then I had North Carolina beating Minnesota. Minnesota choked on that last kick, won me some money. I'm already off to a great start. And then also today I drafted my fantasy team. Let me tell you the starting lineup for that. Because this team's a baller team. Not gonna lie. So for my team, I drafted at quarterback Jordan Love. At running back with the first pick, I drafted Christian McCaffrey. That's a no-brainer for me. And then at my running back 2, I got Rachaad White. My wide receivers are disgusting, I'm not going to lie. Marvin Harrison, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith, and then I got Blake Ferguson, oh my god, not Blake Ferguson. Who is Blake Ferguson? I feel like there is a Blake Ferguson, but I got Jake Ferguson. Sorry to mess him up. I also got the Cowboys defense. And then guys on the bench too. I kind of did a little bit of cheese too. I got Jonathan Brooks and Nick Chubb, so I'm kind of waiting on them to come back and then hopefully have them be the starters for their respective teams. And then I just got a couple. I got Khalil Shakir too. I know I was hyping him up in my AFC video, but I think he's gonna be disgusting. Anyways, getting to the point. I'm either between doing. No, we're just going to get to it. We got award prediction time. The NFL awards, they're really cool, but at the same time, they're really cool, but at the same time, I feel like they kind of leave a lot of people disappointed because, I don't know, they're not by the time the awards kind of come out, well, it's not that, it's just the awards that are given to players, they're kind of already predictable. For example, most valuable player, it's a quarterback award. And it's just annoying because, obviously quarterback is the best position in probably all of sports. I've been ranting about this the previous night that I was recording. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know. I don't love the awards compared to other awards that are in other leagues such as the MLB and then NBA and NFL or NHL. I don't know, just you kind of only have 2 people in the race, and it's just by the time it gets to week 16, it's just a narrative award. There's no real statistics to really back it up. And that's why I just don't like it. For example, defensive player of the year, it's just straight up a narrative award. TJ Watt has been putting up numbers for so long, yet Myles Garrett won it. I think Myles Garrett definitely did deserve it, but at the same time, I don't know. Sorry to get on this weird rant about NFL awards, but anyways, NFL awards. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about all the awards that are given out to players. So this is such a butchered intro. Fuck, what am I doing? Let's just get into it. I didn't want to start off with the MVP. We're gonna get into Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I feel like this is a pretty easy one to predict. I have Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, former Heisman winner, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. This dude is so legit, it's just not even funny. He's just another. He's just so talented. In the preseason game against the Bills, he just pulled off moves that veteran quarterbacks just do on a day-to-day basis. He's so polished for the NFL, and he was just an undisputed. He was without a doubt the best player in the 2024 draft. The past year or so of first overall picks has just been amazing for all of sports. you have, especially in Chicago too, getting Bedard and Caleb Williams. Like Chicago is on the come up now, which is great because they're a big sports market. So I'm happy for them to get two amazing players in their city, and then along with that, getting Victor Wembanyama. Like, man, sports are it's insane. But the reason why I have Caleb Williams winning this award is he, even just getting drafted to the Bears, he was immediately named the starter. Like, they had no competition involved whatsoever. Like, I know people could make the case for Jaden Daniels, but they did bring in Marcus Mariota as some sort of backup, and Jaden Daniels did get named the starter during preseason, so it's a little bit different. Caleb Williams, I think it took until, I believe, OTAs for him to get named the starting quarterback, which just goes to show how talented this dude is, how special this dude is. And the Bears are definitely an interesting team. I wouldn't be surprised if this team makes it to the playoffs, but I just feel like their defense, along with their coaching staff, I just feel a little bit hesitant to put them in the playoffs just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a run. But the NFC North is very competitive in itself. I have the Packers and Lions making the playoffs, so it already sets them at a disadvantage. But Caleb Williams is throwing to three amazing wide receivers, a rookie, Rome Odunze, who's going to have a great season in himself, and it's just great to have a quarterback being paired up with, in my opinion, the third best wide receiver in that draft, who honestly could be wide receiver one in a bunch of other drafts. That dude, Odunze, is just so talented. He reminds me, honestly, of a little bit of DeAndre Hopkins in the sense that he's so physical and he's so aggressive at the catch point that he's just an amazing deep threat. So I really like that selection for the Bears at, I believe it was, 9-10, around that range. And then also getting a security blanket in Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen has just been so elite. He's been one of the most underrated, consistent wide receivers in the NFL. I don't think he'll make the Hall of Fame, but he's the definition of Hall of Very Good. Like, the dude is just unreal. And also DJ Moore, who they extended to, which I do like that extension. Just those three guys, and then along with they have Cole Kmet, and they also have Gerald Everett too. Just, they have a lot of weapons to deal with. So it's got to be a fun season for Caleb Williams in his rookie year. I just have no reason not to pick him as the offensive rookie of the year. Other guys that I have a feeling that could win this award too is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's already the wide receiver one. He's the most talented wide receiver prospect we've seen in a long time. Like, I've never seen this hyped of a wide receiver be selected. And yeah, he's going to put up a 1,000-yard season. I have no doubts about that. Kyler Murray and him are going to be an elite duo. But I just feel like when you're comparing a quarterback to a wide receiver, both of them putting up elite levels, I just feel like they're gonna go with Caleb Williams just because he plays a more valuable position. And I just feel like even if Marvin Harrison has a very good season, which I think he's going to, I just don't think it's going to compare to what Caleb Williams can do. I also, as a wild card too, I have a few wild cards littered around for awards that I felt like could have them. And for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I have Bo Nix possibly winning this award too as a dark horse. I said this in the AFC predictions video. I feel like the Broncos can start off really hot. I think they can start the first half of the season with a winning record, becoming this shocking team and possibly get some hype, some playoff hype to them. And again, I just feel like Bo Nix is... I just feel like I'm not necessarily high on Bo Nix. I don't think he's going to be this elite quarterback, but he's definitely going to be solid. And he just, again, as I was saying in the AFC video, he really fits this Broncos offense. He's just going to make these short completions between the 5 and 10 yard passing window, and he's just gonna put up some offense. Not like offense, but he's just gonna put up some wins and get some hype for the Broncos, but eventually I just feel like it's going to fizzle out on the back half once the Broncos start to get figured out and exposed. So that's kind of a fun dark horse I have. Shifting to Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have Dallas Turner. Honestly, it can be any of the top 3 pass rushers that were drafted in this year's draft, and I won't be mad at you between Dallas Turner, Liatu Latu, and Jared Verse. I can see any of these guys being named the Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year going into the award night. But the reason why I have Dallas Turner is because, one, I think he's the most talented of the bunch, and I remember watching the film for his first preseason game against, who were they facing? Vikings. Obviously, he plays for the Vikings. I'm not stupid. Vikings versus who did they? Oh, Vikings versus Raiders. He put on a clinic that first game. He was just insane. There were a few times, and this was pretty cool to me, like just kind of like a little bit of a side note. There was one play in specific that Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer were both blocking Dallas Turner, and Dallas Turner was giving them a hard time. I know that they're both tight ends, and blocking isn't the complete package of what a tight end does, but it was just a cool little thing to see. But he was just giving that Raiders offensive line just so much trouble, especially at the beginning. So he played with both. He played against the starting offensive line for the Raiders, and then I believe that they ended up going on to their second guys. But Dallas Turner played a lot of that first preseason game, and I believe he picked up a sack or two. He created a lot of pressure. He just has a lot of versatile pass rush moves. His just bend is just amazing. He just had I remember that one sack. He just had an amazing ghost rush and was right on the pass rusher. It was amazing. He's a freak of nature. I haven't done too much research into Liatu Latu and Jared Verse a little bit more, but I just feel more confident about Dallas Turner, especially in the offense that Brian Flores defense Brian Flores has. He loves to run a lot of cover zero, as we saw when he was the Patriots defensive coordinator back in 2019. He loves his blitzes. He loves running man coverage in those packages, and I feel like Dallas Turner can rack up a lot of sacks, especially if he can do that in the one preseason game that I saw. So I'm buying a lot of hype into him. As far as a dark horse, I didn't necessarily have one. I'm trying to think if I can find one off the top of my head. Maybe, what's the pass rusher from Mizzou that got drafted to the Cardinals? Zaire Roberts? I don't know off the top of my head, but he's pretty talented too. I don't think it's Chop Robinson. I kind of ranted on him being a bad pick for the Dolphins. I can't really think of any other pass rusher or defensive player off the top of my head, because it's more so like a pass rushing award, offensive or defense. I keep messing up. Defensive Rookie of the Year, just because it's easy to figure out. Just guys racking up sacks. It's just easy to determine for that. So all signs point for me to put Dallas Turner. If you put a gun to my head and had me pick a Defensive Rookie of the Year, I would go with Dallas Turner. I think all 3 of those guys are going to be extremely talented. First, Latu and Turner, but I think Turner's going to be the main guy. As for Coach of the Year, again, this award is mostly just based on what is the most surprising team that will make this playoff run. That's usually how it goes. That happened to Brian Dable 2 years ago. It happened to DeMeco Ryan last year. And there's been a trend of rookie head coaches winning this award, as I said, for the previous 2. Even Stefanski, he did win it as a rookie head coach with the Cleveland Browns. I believe that was the 2021 season. I'm not all too positive, but I think we're gonna see another similar trend of rookie head coaches winning this award, as I have Mike McDonald winning this award, the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. As you'll see in the NFC prediction video, I thought Mike McDonald was the best head coaching hire in the most recent coaching cycle. I just feel like his defensive principles and defensive philosophy is just insane. It's elite. It's amazing. And it's just going to work with this Seattle Seahawks defense. A defense that really struggled last year, especially in the passing game. They were one of the worst passing defenses last year. But they have a lot of talent, though, in Devin Witherspoon and then Tariq Woolen. They have two amazing corners. I'm expecting a great year out of Devin Witherspoon, who I'm a huge fan of. I think they're going to put him in the slot, and he's just going to turn into their version of Kyle Hamilton. They also had an amazing draft. I like the Byron Murphy pickup in the first round. He's already doing an amazing job. He had an amazing preseason. Who did they pick up in the second round? I'm trying to think. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. I'm kind of don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, just that first pick of Byron Murphy I was really in love with. I feel like the Seahawks are bound to have a bounce back season. They're talented on offense too. People forget that Geno Smith he was comeback player of the year 2 years ago. He had an amazing season, and he has 3 amazing weapons to throw the ball to. Hopefully their offensive line stays healthier. I believe Charles Cross wasn't healthy last year. I should be doing more research before I kind of spitball like this, but anyways, yeah. I feel like Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to have a huge season for the Seahawks and end up becoming the wide receiver 2 for them. DK is going to do his thing. I think he honestly could lead the league in touchdowns this year. I expect him to have a breakout season in a contract year, which I believe he is in a contract year. So, yeah, all signs point to the Seahawks team being a playoff team. And Mike McDonald is going to be a huge contributor as to why they're making the playoffs. And so that's the reason why I have him. As far as other people that could possibly win this award, I think Dan Campbell, especially if the Lions end up with the best record in the NFL, which I do believe that they can possibly do that. Just Dan Campbell's an amazing coach. He's honestly one of the best in the league. I loved the hiring when it first happened, and I still love this hiring. He's just... that dude makes you want to fucking run through a brick wall, I swear to God. And he's just been doing a lot. It's just amazing that he was able to have Ben Johnson stay as their offensive coordinator, which really speaks numbers to how well this Detroit Lions team is, I guess. And yeah, I feel like if the Detroit Lions end up with the best record in the NFL, he could have a possibility. He could get votes. I feel like those are the two guys I kind of listed. I really feel confident with the Mike McDonald pick. Again, I have the Seahawks making the playoffs as a wild card team. And yeah, it's a real good possibility. Going on to Defensive Player of the Year, I have Micah Parsons. He's bound to win the award, especially, I feel like, yeah, again, he's just bound to win this award. Defensive Player of the Year is just such a... I don't even know. It's just such a narrative-based award. Like, you don't really go off of statistics when it... A lot of... It's a narrative award, and it sucks, and a lot of fans hate that about this award, but it is what it is. I just think Micah Parsons is bound to get this, and I feel like if he anchors this Dallas defense who now does not have Dan Quinn with them, if he's able to put up a monster season like he has been since he's been drafted, he's bound to get one. So it's a little bit of an obvious pick, but I feel like Micah Parsons will. I feel like there's going to be voters fatigue with Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. I feel like TJ Watt's going to get snubbed again because if the Steelers don't end up with if the Steelers don't end up as a top, as a playoff team, then I don't think TJ is going to get this award. again, it's a huge narrative-based award, and I just have a feeling Michael Parsons will win this. I don't have a wild card because, again, narrative-based award. There's really no shock factor into this, which is why I hate this, which is why I hate awards in the NFL, because they're just so boring. They're so predictable. It's just the same, like, 4 or 5 names get recycled, which it really sucks. I mean, before that, it was a little bit exciting when Patrick Mahomes won it in his second year because I feel like a lot of people didn't expect that. And then also Lamar. And then it got boring when Aaron Rodgers won it back-to-back years. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers didn't deserve it because he 100% did, but it was just like, come on. So, but at least they got Offensive Player of the Year, which it's pretty much the equivalent of the best non-quarterback. That's basically what it is, you fucking idiot. But yeah, Offensive Player of the Year. There's a lot of options you can go with. Obviously, you can go with a guy like Tyreek Hill. You can go with a Christian McCaffrey. You can go with the Justin Jefferson. But I don't think he should get this award unless he just puts up an insane season with Sam Darnold as your quarterback. I don't know about the likelihood of that possibly happening. Jamar Chase is up there in votes, which is crazy to think of, considering he's holding out with contract disputes. But he's up there if you're interested in using him and betting on that. But the guy that really speaks out to me and the guy that I believe can win this award is Bijan Robinson, the running back for the Atlanta Falcons. This is the peak of Bijan's career, or Bijan's early career. He's gonna get the most carries he's gonna get the most carries this year. He's gonna be a workhorse running back. They don't have Arthur Smith, so there is no chance holding this dude back. He's gonna go full throttle, and I'm excited. I feel like he's gonna put up an insane season. The Falcons have an amazing offensive line, and yeah, again, it kind of reminds me of when Jonathan Taylor had his Offensive Player of the Year season 3 years ago now. That was when Wentz was the quarterback. I feel like, fun fact, I went out on a limb. You can actually see this on my TikTok. I posted a video. This is when I was making shitty ass content, but I posted a video saying that the year after Jonathan Taylor's Offensive Player of the Year season, I predicted him winning the Super Bowl, or not winning the Super Bowl. I predicted him winning MVP, and I also I was so high on that Colts team just because they upgraded at quarterback, and I felt like Matt Ryan was one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and I just thought the Colts were gonna go on this magical run. And I had the Colts making the Super Bowl, which is just insane to me. And I had Jonathan Taylor winning MVP. Funny times, but anyways, yeah, I just feel like Bijan can have a similar season to Jonathan Taylor, and yeah, just go berserk. I don't know. I'm just not good with stats, especially now, because I don't think when Jonathan Taylor had his Offensive Player of the Year season, they had the additional game. They didn't have Week 18 at that point. But regardless, yeah, he's just going to put up monster numbers. This Falcons offense is going to go 0 to 100 real quick with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. I feel like Drake London's going to have an amazing breakout season, end up becoming a considerable top 10 receiver, which I'm all here for. Drake London's amazing. He's sick. And then hopefully Kyle Pitts can do the same. I don't know how I feel about Kyle Pitts yet. I'm more optimistic about Drake May as becoming a damn near elite receiver. But I mean, Kyle Pitts, the sky's the limit with him too. As long as they have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback, and considering they have Zach Robinson as their offensive coordinator, who honestly could get a head coaching job come next year. Yeah, this Falcons offense is going to be sick. Who else? I'm saving MVP to the last. I'm not gonna do like executive of the year or anything like that. I'm trying to think of any other awards that I'm missing. I am missing comeback of the player of the year, which I forgot to put in my list. So I'm kind of freestyling this pick right now. But well, hold on. I'll keep you guys posted. NFL awards. Oh, comeback! Yeah, comeback player of the year. I think that's the only one I'm missing besides MVP. Oh, they have assistant coach of the year too. I could probably name that. They had who was offensive? Who was the assistant coach of the year? Jim Schwartz. Yeah, he deserved it last year. What he did with the Browns defense last year was just insane. That was just an amazing ass defense. Um, hmm. I'm trying to think off the top of my head some possible guys. Honestly, I can say Joe Brady. Joe Brady can honestly win this award for the Bills. He had an amazing year at offensive coordinator, and he, again, as I was saying in the AFC prediction video, he really revitalized that Bills offense. He really implemented James Cook. Considering James Cook at the beginning of the season last year to James Cook come the playoffs it's just a completely different running back, and yeah, just overall, Joe Brady did an amazing job running that offense, and I'm happy that it seems like he's getting things figured out, especially after his awful first offensive coordinator gig with the Panthers when he was with Matt Rule, which I thought that coaching hire was amazing at the time, but now Matt Rule is back in college with Nebraska, so yeah, funny how things change. I'm trying to think of any other guys. Ben or what's his name? Tex. Bobby Slowick can also win this award too. I really like Bobby Slowick. I feel like he's going to end up becoming, honestly, even sorry, I'm kind of cutting this topic off, but as I was saying, as I was boosting Zach Robinson up, he could also win this award too. Bobby Slowick, I like him. I really like him. I thought he was going to be the Titans head coach, but obviously that didn't end up happening. But yeah, I feel like I butchered his name in the AFC video, but regardless, yeah, I feel like Bobby Slowick can definitely win this award, especially if the Texans are the best offense in the league, which I can totally see that happening. But yeah, I feel like he's bound to get a head coaching job, and I feel like he could be a great candidate. Let me think of any other defensive guys off the top of my head. Honestly, Zach Orr could win it for the Ravens. Honestly, both of their coordinators can win it. Todd Monken, especially if the Ravens have another good season. Zach Orr, if the Ravens have another amazing season defensively. If I were to go for the prediction, though, I want to say I'm going to go with Bobby Slowick. I feel like if the Texans put up the best offense next year with just those three playmakers at their wide receiver and just C.J. Stroud just gets the most passing yards, which I think he will. Yeah, I think he's bound to get this award. I wish I could think of defensive guys off the top of my head, but I don't know. That's kind of the few guys that I'm thinking about. Let me look up comeback player of the year odds before I actually come to a decision. Let me look at this. So comeback player, do they have? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so comeback. That's a pretty obvious one. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, here are the odds right now for comeback player of the year. Number one is Aaron Rodgers. Totally makes sense, and I can totally see this. And I'm not going to lie, that might be my choice. But Aaron Rodgers, obviously coming off the Achilles injury, yeah, he's a huge candidate, especially if the Jets just make the playoffs. I think Aaron Rodgers is bound to get this award. Like, he doesn't even have to put up a monster season. I think this award is easily to him. Russell Wilson is also up there. I think he got a little bit of love last year being comeback player of the year. But I thought, who did I think? I did not have Joe Flacco. Oh, I had DeMar Hamlin. Um, yeah. Switching topics. Other guys, Deshaun Watson. I'm not too high on Deshaun Watson this year. I don't think he should get this, but makes sense considering he sucked the past 3 years. Sam Darnold. Justin Fields, oddly enough, is up there. Gardner Minshew. Trent Jordan. J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins can make sense. Jameis is up there. Carson Wentz. What? This is Mac Jones. Just a lot of backup quarterbacks, which I find a little bit interesting. Tim Patrick is up there, too. I'm glad he's getting odds. And I don't know. I mean, he is a part of the Lions, so I want to see if there's other different odds. But Joe Burrow's up there. He was a candidate after he tore his ACL that one year. Kirk Cousins could definitely win this award too. Anthony Richardson, which I don't think he came back though. He just injured. I don't know. He didn't bounce back. To me, I feel like this is more like a bounce back. Like you're bouncing back from being good to you know what I mean. But yeah, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is the obvious choice here. As I was ranting about before, as long as the Jets are moderately successful, as long as they make the playoffs, which again I think they are going to make the playoffs, this award is bound to go to Aaron Rodgers. He definitely deserves it. So I think Aaron Rodgers could definitely get this award. Other guys that could possibly get this too, like if I were to have a backup guy, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins would be the second guy in line. But yeah, moving on to my MVP. I was kind of hinting about it in the AFC video because I'm very high on one specific team that a lot of people aren't very high on, and I don't understand why. I get it, but I also don't get it at the same time. But my 2024-2025 MVP is Josh Allen. I feel like obviously it's going to go to a quarterback. I mean, it's a quarterback award, so I don't think any non-quarterback player will get this. I don't know why that's the first thing that comes to my head, but yeah, obviously a lot of people are writing off the Bills simply because they lost Stephon Diggs. They've been making a lot of cap restructured moves recently, during the offseason. They also elected not to sign Gabe Davis. They let Gabe Davis walk. So they let arguably Josh Allen's best two guys just walk in free agents, or they let go of their number one and number two receiver, which is just crazy. The season that I'm trying to portray for Josh Allen is very similar to Patrick Mahomes' most recent MVP that he won 2 years ago now, when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl of their back-to-back, where they traded Tyreek Hill, but Mahomes still put up this amazing offensive season with throwing to Sky Moore, throwing to Marcus Valdes-Scantling, throwing to Kadarius Toney before he actually knew how to fucking catch a football. It just reminds me of that type of season, and I just like the Bills going into this season, despite them losing those two receivers. They just have a very versatile offense with versatile receivers. Obviously, they have their two very reliable tight ends that Josh Allen loves to use. Dalton Kincaid has been that guy most recently. They drafted him in the first round. I really like Dalton Kincaid, which makes sense why he's been drafted very high in fantasy recently. He's going to have a great season with Josh Allen. And then don't forget Dawson Knox, who he's just a touchdown machine for Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's one of his probably honestly, besides Diggs, he might be second in touchdowns. Like for Josh Allen's career touchdowns, I think Dawson Knox might be second, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, Dawson Knox is amazing considering he's their tight end too. And then I haven't even gotten to their wide receivers yet. Again, I'm expecting a breakout year for Khalil Shakir. I think he's going to emerge as the wide receiver one and have a monster season. I like the draft pick of Keon Coleman from Florida State. He's their perfect Gabe Davis replacement, and I think he's even better than Gabe Davis. He's going to be a better version of Gabe Davis in that offense. And again, he had one of the best hands in the draft for wide receivers. I'm not too high on his route running. I'm not too high on his, I guess, mobility. I mean, he ran a 4.66. I'm kind of just repeating the same things I said in the AFC video, but I just think he came to the perfect scenario in Buffalo. And then they also signed Curtis Samuel, who he's a great complimentary wide receiver for this team. So I think all signs point to Josh Allen winning this MVP. I think he's just going to have a monster season, and considering he doesn't have Stephon Diggs, he doesn't have Gabe Davis, just this offense looking a lot less better in the eyes of a lot of people, yet I feel like this offense got better. I feel like Josh Allen is the guy. I really think Josh Allen is the guy. Obviously, if I were to pick another player, the obvious and boring choice is Patrick Mahomes, just because Patrick Mahomes is just, he's really good at football. So yeah, that makes me want to that makes me draw interest to him. Any wild card picks? I'm trying to think. Honestly, no, because I feel like, again, especially with MVP, there's not really a shock factor into it. Like once you get to like week 4 or 5, you kind of know who the early favorites are for it, and they most likely are the favorites going forward. So yeah, I feel like Josh Allen, it's his award to lose. Honestly, let me look at the odds too. I should have definitely looked up the award odds as I was doing this, like I did with the Comeback Player of the Year, but NFL MVP odds. Let's see. I like Vegas more, so. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is first. Josh Allen is actually second, which it's obvious that Josh Allen is he's always up there in MVP rankings. A lot of people have him winning it, and I just feel like this is the year to do it. Joe Burrow is third. I don't think this is Joe Burrow's MVP season, just with all the drama going on with their wide receivers and everything. And usually the Bengals just don't start off too hot. I don't know. Especially, I feel like in order for the Bengals to for Burrow to win this award, he has to overtake the AFC North from the Ravens, and I don't think that's gonna happen for them. Jalen Hurts is up there. I don't like Jalen Hurts. I just it's not that I don't think Jalen Hurts is bad, but I just feel like his only case is just him putting up statistics. He doesn't really fit a big need for the Eagles offense. Like, he isn't the main catalyst for this offense. I mean, he is, but he isn't, obviously, because he plays quarterback. But if you watch Eagles football, I feel like you know what I mean. I just feel like the only reason why he's so high is just because he puts up the stats. He puts up the rushing touchdowns. That's the only reason. Yeah, yeah, Josh Allen's my guy. I really think that. So yeah, that's all the individual awards. But yeah, it brings us to the final part of this prediction series, I guess you want to call it, and that is the Super Bowl team. Man, this is probably the most boring. I probably have the most boring Super Bowl team matchup In the AFC, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. And in the NFC, I have the Detroit Lions. Yeah, a rematch, I guess a rematch, but a rematch of the opening night game when the Chiefs won their Super Bowl, or of last year's opening series between the Lions and the Chiefs in Arrowhead when the Chiefs were getting their first rings, or well, second, but their first of the back-to-back. I keep just saying that, but you know what I mean. Sorry, I'm kind of going off. Yeah, I just feel like I definitely, again, going back to what I was saying, what I've been saying about the Chiefs, I can't write this team off until they actually lose a playoff game. Until I actually see it, I can't bet against this team. They have the best quarterback. They have the best player in the NFL at quarterback. He's gonna come. He's gonna come down as the GOAT. Too bad he's not gonna be the GOAT because Tom Brady owns him. You know, AFC Championship game 2018, Super Bowl 54. So before anyone gets all too crazy, before people start saying that I'm too crazy about Mahomes, I'm a homosexual. I'm not, but I just gotta pay respect to how good he is because he is insane. But yeah. And again, as I'm saying before, yeah, I have to see this Chiefs team actually lose before I can write them off. So, yeah, I have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Versing the Detroit Lions. I feel like, I don't know, the AFC, I feel like is a lot more, it's always been like this, but I feel like the AFC is a lot more competitive, especially this year compared to the NFC. I don't know if it's just me knowing a lot more about the AFC compared to the NFC, but I don't feel completely confident about this Lions pick compared to the Kansas City pick. But I don't know. This is just kind of just another feeling pick for me. Like I don't think the 49ers are going to come back. I know that they just extended Brandon Ayuk, but I just don't feel confident about this team. Philadelphia, I don't think it. Atlanta, hell no, I don't. I know that they're getting a lot of love recently, but they're overrated. I know they're going to be a playoff team, but I don't believe it. Dallas, they fucking choke, so no chance in hell. Green Bay, it's possible, but at the same time, I need to see more out of Jordan Love. I need to see a full regular season of Jordan Love before I can really confirm how legit of a quarterback he is. I really like Jordan Love, but I just really need to see. I need to see him win one playoff game outside of the Cowboys, which comes with an asterisk to me. Yeah, I really think the two teams that I'm drawn to in the NFC. Whatever. Yeah, the two teams that I feel like have the best Super Bowl chances are the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just feel like Detroit has just the better roster and just they have probably the most balanced offense in the league. I feel like Amon-Ra is going to have a breakout season. Jared Goff, I feel like, is the most underrated player in the NFL, which is crazy. I've always been a Jared Goff believer. Even when he first got traded to the Lions, everyone was saying that, he was going to get cut 2 years into the contract. You know, the Lions are going to go into this rebuild. They're going to draft this rookie quarterback. They're going to draft this player. Well, guess what? He just got fucking paid. So I'm so happy for Jared Goff, man. He's extremely talented. He's a very smart quarterback. Obviously, he's not the cream of the crop, but he is an excellent role player, and yeah, he just does an amazing job. With Ben Johnson, I feel like this has to be Ben Johnson's last year as their offensive coordinator. So, and they improved their secondary, which is their main thing that they needed to do. They got DJ Reader too, which is a big selection for them in their defense. Their defense improved, and I believe it improved at least because they improved their secondary through the draft, and I do like their draft picks. I do like Terry and Arnold, and I do like the Mizzou cornerback that they selected. But regardless, yeah, I feel like Detroit. I feel like it has to be Detroit, and I feel like Detroit's gonna put up a fight. I really do against this Chiefs team. It can go two ways, and especially how they played each other that first game. It just went down to the wire. Like, yeah. Is it crazy to say that the Detroit Lions are going to win the Super Bowl? Like, it kind of is, but at the same time, I think I'm leaning towards them. I really am. I feel like the fatigue is going to set in for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know I was just saying, yeah, you got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. This, that. But at the same time, they've played a lot of football. They've played a lot of playoffs. And their roster, despite their roster being really, really good, it's just so hard to three-peat. It's really hard to repeat, let alone three-peat. So I feel like it's the Lions. I feel like the Lions have to make the Super Bowl out of all the NFC teams. It's just so simple. They probably have the second or third best roster in the NFL behind Baltimore and Kansas City. And yeah, I just feel like Amon-Ra is going to go crazy. Gibbs being the feature running back now, he's going to have an amazing season. They have the best offensive line in the league. They're just going to ground and pound the shit out of the ball. Just for a modern offense, hopefully Jameson Williams can really turn things around. I'm still holding out on him. And if he really gets things figured out and he has a breakout season, yeah, this team is going to be scary. This offense that is already good with Amon-Ra, who honestly can even be Offensive Player of the Year too, who I didn't even suggest, but I kind of thought about him as being Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he could definitely go out and win it, but yeah. Give me Detroit. Yeah, give me Detroit. Yeah, wow. I never thought I'd say this. I never thought I would say this. Give me the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's come to this. Yeah, I feel like Kansas City will beat the hell out of the AFC, and just by the Super Bowl, they just aren't able to just do it. It's just kind of reminiscent of the Patriots during their 3-year Super Bowl stint. Just one of those years they just aren't able to win it, and the other team, who wasn't the best team, ends up just winning it just because it's a win or go home game. So yeah, give me the Detroit Lions. I'm really rooting for you. I'm gonna be a neutral fan this year, considering the Patriots are gonna suck. So I'm kind of just gonna sit back and relax and just gonna really take in the full grasp of the NFL. So yeah. Yeah, so I just named my award predictions. I named my Super Bowl champion. Come next year, I'm going to look like an absolute idiot for half of these, but honestly, I do feel confident with these picks. I really do. The most confident pick I have is Josh Allen winning MVP. I just believe it. And yeah, I'm really excited for this season. I don't know what I'm going to do for content-wise. I might want to do reaction. I honestly might try to do reaction videos to like primetime games. So I'll probably react to Kansas City versus the Ravens after that game. I'm not going to do like a full-on like recording episode like this. I might just record just with the microphone and just upload it, and yeah, pretty much just do things like that. But yeah, that's about it. So hopefully I can consistently do content now. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. Yeah, bye.